Hi everyone, really good to see all of you. My name is Darren Tay. Welcome to my live Q&A segment. This is a Friday, I believe the 5th of June 2020, and we are officially into the month of June. I hope everyone has been doing well so far, staying safe, staying happy, and staying healthy as well. Now, this Q&A, as you can see, I have two boxes in front of me. One box is pink in color and the other one is white in color. In each of the boxes, we have questions. The ones in the pink color box here, we have questions that ask pertaining to, let's say, public speaking, speaking as a business, entrepreneurship and endeavors. Then the ones in the white color box, they are going to be questions of a personal nature. So there are more personal questions sent in from our followers, our viewers, our fans from around the world. So thank you very much for your contributions. Every single week, my team will collate the questions and put them in a box. This being a live sort of Q&A also means that you can ask your questions on the spot. So feel free to send your questions coming in. It's really amazing to be able to engage with you, your questions live, and I always treasure these moments to be able to connect and interact with everyone on a weekly basis. So continue to keep your questions coming in. We'll continue to have our live Q&A. We concluded for the month of May. We're going to continue for the month of June as well. It's going to be an amazing ride. So let's get started with, which one should I go for first? Okay, maybe I'll pick one from the personal question box first. The question here is, were your parents strict? So yeah, I would say when they were, when we were young, our parents, they were quite strict, and at the same time they were loving as well. So it's always a delicate balance between being very, very strict and that of also giving a lot of tender loving care. I remembered once when my mom shared with me that she always remembered this one advice from a good friend of hers. When there's the usage of a cane or a stick or a rod, basically we call it like corporal punishment, it needs to be proportionate. It needs to be proportionate with the offense, and at the same time, it needs to be calibrated with the right amount of strength so that, yes, there's some form of pain that's inflicted, but yet it is not so much pain that you will create some kind of irreparable injury, whether it's of the physical kind or it's of the mental kind. One statement I remembered very well was that whenever there's some kind of administration of punishment, whether it's a smack on the palm to inflict some kind of pain to correct bad behavior, or maybe a stroke of the cane, or maybe a whack on the bottom, it needs to be one with the right intent. If it's out there just to vent frustrations, then it's definitely not the way to go. And we tend, my mom shared with me that her friend shared with her, parents tend to get more excessive when it comes to the force, but when you're coming in with the intent to more of correct a bad behavior more than to vent frustrations, then it's certainly going to be very great. So my parents, I would say they were able to strike that balance between being strict, which is necessary, I would say, to give my brother and I the right set of values, but also at the same time being with us when we needed them, staying with us, giving us the reason as to why they're punishing us, giving us the reason as to why they're rewarding us. So we understood the consequences of our actions, and then we knew how then later on to move on to be more responsible individuals. So for that, I'm very, very grateful. Simple answer to the question, were your parents strict? Yes, but well balanced with TLC, tender loving care. Next question here is, Darren, does being a world champion of public speaking skyrocket your success? So this question, it's more of a blend between that of a speaking kind of skill and then how it crosses over to being a pro, as in a professional. So does being a world champion of public speaking skyrocket your career? I would say that being the world champion of public speaking is more of a start and a springboard to give you more opportunities, whether it's in terms of media coverage, whether it's in terms of collaboration, whether it's in terms of being able to give value to others. But I would say that being the world champion of public speaking is just but one part in the overall matrix of being able to do well in the professional speaking business. When we say professional speaking, I'm not just talking about one person going out there, give a keynote, one person going out there giving a kind of training workshop, but it also refers to individuals who are trying to build a speaking business by having learning centers, by having an online training platform and all. So basically the whole basket of offerings. I would say then it's being the world champion of public speaking is just a factor, but there's so many other factors involved. Like I said in my previous videos, you can be a great speaker, but you may not necessarily be a great trainer as well. So what this means is that you can be a great soccer player. It doesn't mean that you can coach someone to be a great soccer player. So coaching, training, to be able to guide others, you then need that extra set of skills to be an amazing, amazing trainer. On top of that, you can have the greatest of training abilities, you can have the greatest of content, but you would also then need to have a strong marketing channel. You need to have a great sales process so that individuals will be able to know who you are, they will be able to know what you have to offer, and then eventually get your services, right? So when I got the World Championship of Public Speaking, World Champion of Public Speaking title in the year 2016, it was great because it was a dream come true for me from a speaking point of view. After so many years of hard work, finally I was able to win. And it wasn't out of luck, it was through a lot of hard work that people don't see behind the scenes. People get jealous of perhaps the accolades, the media releases, the media coverage and all, but they don't necessarily know the truth behind the scene, the hours and the years that I invested to be able to get to where I was in 2016. But after which, we had to work a lot. And my brother and I, we talk all the time, we interact, and we discuss all the time that we are nowhere near done. In fact, it's just the start for us, because for the speaking business, there's still so much more to learn. Yeah. So does it mean it skyrocketed the career? It helped, offered opportunities, offered media exposure and coverage. But when it came to truly rocketing the career, there are so many other factors involved. Yeah. So thank you for the question. The next one is, what is the dumbest way you have been injured? Oh, this I'm quite happy to share. The dumbest way that I've ever been injured, I would say, was I think during Mid-Autumn Festival. Okay, so Mid-Autumn Festival in Singapore, we have this tradition where we carry lanterns, we eat mooncakes, we have some cookies, we get together with family members, and then we have a good time. It's also the point in time where the moon is really round, so we tend to go to the park and we tend to play with sparklers. You know, the little thing where at the edge you light it up and then it starts to, you know, there are a lot of sparks going on until the end of the I think combustible sort of material. Well, what happened was I wanted to create sort of like a rocket, so I combined a few of those sparklers and then I created I think a fuse made out of one of those sticks, and I tried lighting it, and then the rocket would fly to the sky. It was really a remarkable sight to behold. So I decided to try, why not? I launched one from my, while holding on to the metal sticks, not the combustible material of course, and then I light it and see if it will explode to give this kind of explosive effect. What happened was I combined, I think, a good 20 to 30, and I call it explosive 20 or 200 or 300. What happened was that the backfire, literally the backfire, burnt my index finger and my thumb, and I was rushed to the accident emergency department of a hospital in Singapore. So that I would say was the dumbest way that I ever got hurt, and I learned it the hard way. Okay, let's pick another question. The question I got here is how to be an interesting lecturer and to encourage discussion. You see, there are a couple of ways to be an interesting lecturer and to encourage discussion. To engage your audience members, there are a couple of techniques that we need to take note of, and it also depends on the media, whether you are using virtual online training platforms or whether you are speaking live. It's going to affect the sort of ways you're going to employ to engage the audience. Now, there are a few general tips I'd like to share with you. Let me share with you 3 quick ones. The first one, to engage a lot of discussion and to engage your audience members, is to have the ability to conduct what we call check-ins. Now, check-in is not like checking into a hotel, but check-in is like checking in with your audience members and to find out if they are following, if they are with you. So for example, if I'm on Zoom, I'll sometimes ask my audience members to give me the thumbs up or to raise their hands to let me know if they are with me, if I need to slow down, if I need to repeat my remarks. For live training crowd, what I will do is that I will check in with them and see that if they understood this point. If not, should I perhaps run through it again? When we have these regular check-ins, it helps the audience members feel that this training is catered for them. They don't just want to see someone in a robotic manner just deliver something that's already been pre-planned. They want it to be live and organic at the same time while tailoring it to their needs. So that's one very good way to engage, by checking in. The other one is to get them to ponder and think, because it's only when they think will they then discuss either internally or verbally with another party. So how do we get them to think? We get them to think by asking them rhetorical questions. For instance, you could ask them, ladies and gentlemen, when was the last time you said I love you to your mom? And you just pause there. Because when you pause there, that's the point in time that you turn a monologue into a dialogue. That's the point in time that you change the audience members just looking at you passively to be able to think about the question that they've just asked and then answering you mentally. So that makes it engaging. And the final one is remember to praise the audience. I think speakers don't do this enough. Speakers, when they get the audience members to participate, either by way of show of hands or by getting them to discuss with the person next to them, what speakers hardly do is when the audience members give an answer, speakers tend to forget to thank them. Because the moment you thank your audience members, it gives them the momentum, it gives them also the incentive, and it reduces their barrier. It makes them feel that it's safe. It is safe for me to deliver my responses. It's safe for me to engage. It's safe for me to discuss. It's safe for me to share my point. So that's why I would say these are the 3 tips that you can use to better engage your audience. Yeah, cool? All right. So with that, let me grab a question from the personal question box. And let's see what question we have here. Feel free to send your questions coming in. I'll be more than happy to answer them. The next question is, Darren, are you good at forgiving others? I would say I'm pretty good at forgiving others, not to brag or not to boast, but I would say in the past maybe a little different, but now, having gone through different trials and tribulations, different obstacles, and having been forgiven so many times by so many individuals in my life, I would say that yes, I've now gotten good, and it's a skill that I'm very, very proud of in forgiving and forgetting the mistakes that people have committed. Because there's one famous saying by Ajahn Brahm which was said very, very well, a very wise spiritual leader. He said this, that when he went over to a prison and he spoke with the prisoners, he told the prisoners that he saw them not as prisoners, but individuals, not as criminals as well, but individuals who have committed a criminal act, which was a huge difference. A criminal act and being a criminal. The former means that you have the propensity, you have the ability, you have the opportunity, you have the propensity, and you have the opportunities to be able to rehabilitate, to be able to change for the better, and then to start a new path of goodness, whereas the other just goes deep into the character. It's the same thing when a kid goes to Toys R Us and then knocks down a can of a Play-Doh. The mom says to the kid, you're such a stupid kid. Versus if the mom were to say, that was such a stupid act. There's a big difference, right? So that's why I would say being kind to others and seeing, even if it's a mistake committed by one individual, we can see it as just a mistake at that point in time. That person maybe have just committed an act of mistake or an act of crime, but certainly won't see an individual as criminal in that way. And applying a lot of kindness to others is going to help make the world a kinder place. So I think that is a powerful, powerful practice. Yep. Okay, so let's pick another question. If you have questions coming in, I think Derek has a question coming in from Lawrence. So thank you, Lawrence, for the question. The question is, I give briefings to my subordinates every day. How do I be more confident? How do I feel more natural at it? Now here are three tips that I usually share with a lot of my friends when they ask for tips to give better briefings, to give better debriefings as well, to give better after-action review sort of facilitation. There are 3 very important things to take note of. Now, over at a briefing, what people want to hear and what people are most receptive to is if they are able to see and if you're able to conduct your briefings or your debriefings or your AAR more of a conversation than more of, say, like a top-down, I'm speaking down to you kind of tone or manner. When you make it a conversation, you are very willing to check in with the audience whether they understood. You are very willing to also hear some form of feedback from the audience, from the people you're speaking with, and at the same time, the choice of words will be very, very different. You see, the choice of words makes a huge difference for the audience members, whether they want to receive that information or not. I remember once where I went for a parenting workshop and the trainer shared, like for example, just changing the word from but to and could get a different kind of response from your kid. Instead of saying when your kid comes up to you, Mom, Dad, could I play with this new game? It's Clash Royale, it's fun. Instead of saying that, oh, it sounds fun, yeah, but have you finished your homework? Because the word but shows a change in ideas. What individuals tend to do then is for better parenting, they change the word but to and. And they say that sounds like a great game, and how about you complete your homework and we play it at the same time? We play it together. Not play it at the same time, sorry, but we play it after that together. Now, when say in that way, it really removes sort of that defensive shield to want to have to, tussle with you. So I would say changing and framing your words is going to be very, very useful instead of like a very top-down kind of approach in a manner that is cold, that is devoid of any warmth. Framing it in a way that is more of a conversation is going to be very, very useful. Yep. Sometimes you don't have to be as precise. Sometimes you can toss in some form of pause fillers while it's still okay. Right? The other thing to take note of is how do you feel more confident and feel more natural at it is do not think of yourself as sort of like an appraisal, whether the audience members, they're going to judge me and stuff, but it's really to think of from the point of view of your audience, whether or not they're going to get some value, whether or not they understand. So one good way to show that you are able to deliver these briefings confidently is, and more importantly, is to deliver it effectively, is to at times get one or two individuals to perhaps share what you have just shared with them. And this is something that I do for, say, some of our new trainers who shadow our more senior trainers, where we just share with them and say that, hey, for this particular training, you can just keep a lookout for these things, these 3 techniques. And then after the training, we then ask them, so based on the observation, were you able to find out what the 3 techniques were, and then what are your thoughts about it? So they will then be able to feed it back to us and tell us what these 3 techniques were. So for a lot of safety briefings, it's usually very useful for audience members to be able to feed it back so you know whether they understood the point. And the other one is, how do you feel more confident and feel more natural at it? Is, if possible, speak at eye level. Many a times, individuals tend to speak at an elevated platform, which need not exactly be very, very effective. Some individuals may have their bosses seated down while speaking to their subordinates as they stand up. When we are not meeting at eye level with the people we are speaking with, it is also very difficult to establish rapport. When a parent is trying to speak with the child and let the child know that you are in a comfortable place, but hey, there's something important I want to tell you, and I want to speak with you because I respect you and I also would like the same respect as well, they tend not to just stand up, talk down, they tend to squat down and then speak at eye level with the kid. Now, we're not saying that you speak in the same manner as to an adult as you would with a kid, but maintaining eye level shows that you respect the other party and you're also able to establish rapport instantly. So I would say these are the few tips that are going to be very helpful in you giving a briefing in a confident, in an efficient, and also in a very pleasant manner. Sounds good? Yeah, I think we have some more questions coming in. This is from Meng Long. The question is, what have you completed, your task for today, like literally, and today, whether you're happy or you're unhappy. So thank you, Meng Long, for your question, and thank you for engaging and thank you for tuning in as well. For the question, what task have I completed? So the task, I feel like for Lawrence, the question came from the pink color box and then Meng Long from the personal box, so there's really that good mixed. What task have I completed? I just completed a shoot here in Singapore. It's a shoot where we talk about our company, how and why we do what we do. Plus, at the same time, how our business has been affected by COVID-19, what are the measures that we are doing to help change the format, to change the model as well, and what are some of the things that our stakeholders have done well so far. So we did a shoot, that took about 4 hours, after which I went for a training session. We taught students the English language, and then after which is the live Q&A. Before my shoot in the afternoon at about 3, I was up clearing some emails, admin work, I was reading, I was watching some videos to chill, and I did my mindfulness practice as well. Now remember, mindfulness practice is really beautiful. I attended a talk by Ajahn Brahm, who is a spiritual leader I admire very, very much. It's his ability to do so many things, his ability to do so many things given the same amount of time that we have and remain calm with that clarity of mind. And when he was asked many times how exactly did he achieve that, he shared that he was able to do that because he was able to train his mind. Now, training the mind is something that we don't spend enough time. Training the mind on top of reading and whatnot, it's about tuning in. It's about going through the mindfulness practice, the meditative practice, and it's going to be very, very useful, whether it's by way of the body scan, by visualization, by way of the breath, focusing on one object. It's going to be very useful for you to tame the mind that tends to go about in all directions, and helps to keep the emotions in check. It's really, really powerful. I feel that everyone should be doing that. But again, one good way that recently I saw on Headspace by the co-founder Andy was that sometimes it's not so much of just telling people you should meditate, you should go for mindfulness practice, but it's to also share with them and be with them And if they happen to be at a place where they are happy to accept mindfulness practice and meditation, I think that's all great. But if not, it could always be a more gradual introduction. Yeah. Happy today, very happy. Tired, absolutely. Going through a half-day shoot training, and tomorrow I will have a full day of training. Sunday I have as well. Tired, yes, but very happy, very fulfilled to have accomplished many of the tasks, check them, and to be able to connect with every one of you. So yeah, amazing. I think we have one more live question coming in. Keep the live questions coming in. I think it's really great. This is from Wei Rong. Wei Rong asks, how do you care for your voice as you are in the speaking business? So some of my friends asked whether did I buy insurance for my voice. Currently, I did not. I have not, I mean. But what I do is that I care for my voice in a few ways. The first one is, for every sort of intensive period of speech, I would pick a good amount of time to rest my vocal cords as well. So for instance, if I go for a 2 full day kind of training, then I would take the next day to rest. I'll try and minimize speaking, minimize speech, and then just focus on more of the doing, either mindfulness meditation or rest enough. So that's one, taking care of the voice, meaning after intensive period, have that break as well. We all need a break. The next thing that I do is I have some, I think either betadine throat spray. If I got a sore throat, I've got pipa gao, which is basically, I think, honey. Yeah, I have honey, lemon. I drink lots of water, lots of fluids, and vitamin C. It certainly helps in repairing either epithelial damage, if any. I was told by one of my voice trainer as well as my ENT specialist that there was a little bit of a, I would say, not so much of a damage per se, but there's a bit of peeling. So that's why it's important for me to rest, and that was what I did, and then to drink lots of water. The other thing that I do to help protect my voice, I would say, is in resting a lot, having adequate sleep. For me, I will need at least 8 hours of sleep a day, and I'm not shy in saying and admitting that. Some people say that it's a waste of time. I don't think so. 8 hours of sleep is really very useful for me. I think it's up to an individual. So yeah, I go for that. You should try that as well. Okay, let's pick another question from a personal question. Oh, we have one more coming in, and then I will answer this. Yeah, one thing that, it can be anything, that you feel best represent you. A thing. Well, if it's a thing, I think I previously answered this question when it came to what is one animal that describes you. A thing. If I describe the sun as the thing, sure, I would like to say that. Why? It's because, it's not because I think that I'm that big as the sun or stuff, but I would say the sun, it's one who, that gives warmth, that gives life. And I myself always take pride in being able to be there for the people I care for, to be able to give, even though I'm not very wealthy, but to be able to give, whether it's in terms of value or in terms of cash, in terms of donations. And at the same time, to just bring joy to others. Sometimes it's not just really about the money. It's not just about being good in public speaking too, it's about doing good through public speaking. So if the one thing I would like to say, it's probably the sun, but not in the egoistic manner where, without me, life would not exist kind of way, but it's more of giving the warmth to others, being there for others, and supporting life in that way. Yeah, so thank you for the question. These are very creative questions that sometimes I've never been asked before. The next question is, would you date a fan? Oh yeah, of course, definitely. I would date a fan so long as the fan is of legal age, of course, not a minor. The fan is not a relative, and the fan is a human being. Yeah, so absolutely, I'll date a fan. Oh, we have another question coming in. This is regarding voice modulation for public speaking. Must it be like a DJ? Absolutely not. You don't see people speak like DJs all the time. Neither do you see people who speak like newscasters all the time. You don't see individuals who have to mimic a certain accent all the time. Neither do you see individuals who have to speak like an MC all the time as well. Everyone with our own voice. The thing is, people are not proud enough of their own voice. I'm very proud of my voice. When some people say, Darren, do you think you should alter your accent? I would tend to see myself as not having a strong accent, like having to mimic maybe a UK accent or an American accent. Even in America, like I said so many times, there's so many different accents depending on the state you're from, and you don't really have to copy theirs because you have your own unique voice. Tony Robbins has his own unique voice. Gary Vaynerchuk has his own unique voice. Nelson Mandela has his own unique voice. We have Mother Teresa with her own unique voice. We have so many other famous politicians, there are too many for me to name. We have individuals who are activists, human rights, women empowerment, kids empowerment. All of them have beautiful, beautiful voices. Do they really need to speak like a newscaster or DJ? Absolutely not. So be proud of your voice. But what I would say is, why when people say that there's a certain either standard or certain role model to emulate, is because of three things. Number one, whoever speaks, whether it's a DJ, a newscaster of sorts, they have the ability to speak with clarity. So speaking with clarity, articulate your words, speak with proper pronunciation, enunciation, that is more important than anything else. Number two, having the ability to have your voice convey enthusiasm and passion, that is in the proper way in which you're able to do vocal projection. I think that is really useful. And then the final one would be to play around with vocal variety. That means knowing where to place the stress, knowing where to place the emphasis. Like for example, if I were to say, at the end of just 1 year, we suffered $17.9 billion a loss. If you say it flat like this, there's no modulation, it's not going to be exciting. But what you can do is, if you want to highlight the enormity or the gravity of the loss, then you can place emphasis on that. You can say that in just 1 year, pause, slow down, we suffered not one, not two, but $17.9 billion in terms of losses. So when you place emphasis, you can see totally there's a change in complexion. So that's good? Yeah? Awesome. So I'll take maybe about 2 more questions before we conclude this Q&A, and then we'll continue to see you for the next few weeks, for the month of June as well. We'll continue with the live Q&A. I just love this so much. It energizes me. The question is, where did you grow up? Born, bred, raised here in Singapore. Specifically, if you ask me which part of Singapore, the northeastern part of Singapore, Hougang. Born, bred, raised here for the past 30 years, closing 31.
There's a question behind it.
Oh, so this question is how to be confident with new people that you meet. Great. Now you see, a lot of people think that confidence simply means having a certain way you use your body and all. I would say it boils down to something very, very simple. It's more of the way in which you use your facial expression. So how do you show that you are confident? The first one is be relaxed. Feel relaxed and be happy being there with whoever you're speaking with. The best way to do that, the best way, you forget everything, just remember this one thing, smile. Because when you smile, that's the best way to connect with another party. Of course, it depends on the occasion. You don't go to a funeral and you start smiling all the time. But for most of the engagements and interaction, we smile. That is the best way to help you exude confidence. Next, listen more than we speak. Show a genuine and sincere interest to understand the other party. In fact, you gain more friends by listening rather than speaking. And you are able to show that you're confident as well. Now, the last one is how to be confident with, the last tip I would share is this. Feel free to show limited vulnerabilities. A lot of people think that I have to portray a perfect self to be confident in front of others, to be perfect. But no, one of the best ways to show that you are confident about yourself is if you are confident in the first place to share vulnerabilities. I'm not talking about just share every problem you have. When we say limited, it means within comfortable limits, within appropriate limits based on the social setting. Share some vulnerabilities. What were the problems you had to go through? What were the obstacles you had to go through to get to where you are today? That's going to be so, so powerful. Sounds good? Yeah? All right, I'll take one last question from this box. It's a personal question box, and that is, how would someone get your special attention? This is so sweet. How would you get my attention? I would say, just speak with me like an ordinary human being and show lots of kindness to others, the people around you. Oh, that's going to get my attention. I love people who are kind to others. I'm not just saying kind to me, but kind to others. I would love to interact with individuals who are very, very kind and apply a lot of kindness to themselves and to others. That's going to get my attention. Individuals, you see, we get a lot, and you can just ask Derek as well and my team, we get a lot of requests, whether it's to enter into collaborations, whether it's to appear on shows, to speak with the audience members and all. Now, we would like to do that, but like with all human beings, because we only have 24 hours, and 8 hours we spend on sleeping, I need to spend some time with my family members as well to run errands. I have a family to take care of, and also at the same time to take care of the business and the clients who have placed their trust in me and my team to serve them. Only at 24 hours, so we can't possibly be saying yes to all the various requests. So what I would say is some kind of request that's probably going to get some form of special attention is if right from the start you can focus more about sort of like the good that you are doing for others, the value that you are doing for others. I think that would be great. Instead, so messages that says, we now currently would like to get you to speak to a group of, say, 500, and it's not going to be paid. It's not about payment, but it's not going to be paid. You can be upfront about it. It's not going to be paid, but it's a group of 500 individuals who are underprivileged and they will benefit greatly from, here are some of your sharing or pointers. Yeah, that's great. Just tell us who we are benefiting, all right? Instead of, are you free at 4:30 on a particular day, hop on for a 1-hour talk. I mean, that is not likely to get a lot of special attention. And because I don't view all the messages, we have a lot of messages coming in, whether you're tuning in on Facebook, YouTube, or Instagram. But our team looks through them. There's just so many requests coming in, so we can only attend to those that ultimately the team, they're able to filter out as serious enough. So it's not necessarily for money. That means even if they are pro bono engagements, we do that as well for charitable organizations, non-profit organizations. So I think those are ways to get special attention, to just let us know who are the people you're serving, yeah, and it can be for free. So just let us know. But aside from speaking engagements, I would say people who apply a lot of kindness to themselves and to others. With that, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me for the live Q&A. Keep the questions coming in. We have a lot more questions, as you can see, from the public speaking and the business side, and because we answered quite a bit of the personal questions one. Just send the questions in. I'll be more than happy to engage. I'll see you again next week live on Instagram, on YouTube, and on Facebook as well. Take care, everyone. Bye. See you.